Hey guys, it's Lisa and welcome to my channel. Today, out of necessity, I'm gonna upcycle some bottles. And a friend of mine likes bottle decor, and she's bought a few sets from me in the past. A friend of hers has admired them, and so she is coming in from out of state for a visit, and my friend wants to give her a set of bottles. So the good thing about this is she doesn't really have a particular style that she wants them in. So I'm just going to give her a couple of different choices. And I'm actually going to do 3 sets of bottles in this video, but a couple of the sets are for her to choose from. The other set is just one that I'm going to be doing additionally. Now the first thing I need to do is get these stickers off and then clean them up really well with some alcohol, because you want to make sure when you're painting on glass that there's absolutely nothing on there to keep your paint from adhering. And I'm going to be using a product called Slick Stick. I still have a jar that's called Slick Stick. Dixie Belle has changed the name of that to Boss, and I don't know if it's the exact same formula or not, but it is to help your paint adhere to very slick surfaces. Now I'm going to give all of these bottles a good coat of the Slick Stick, and then I'm going to let them dry overnight. Now you could just let them dry a couple of hours, but I found that letting them dry overnight when you have time, it just helps your paint stick much, much better. Now you can brush it on like this, or if you've ever painted a bottle, you know that pouncing it on just covers so much better. You don't have to worry about those brush lines. But I'm just going to go ahead and brush all of this on, because this is just to help my paint adhere. So I don't have to worry about brush strokes here. They're all going to get painted over. Now once I have a coat of the Slick Stick on this and it's dried overnight on all of these, then I'm going to go ahead and paint a base color on them. So for the larger bottles, I've chosen to paint those in the color Cotton. And then for the smaller set, I'm going to paint those in the color Dropcloth. So they just need one good coat once you use that Slick Stick. Sometimes you may need an additional coat, but these covered all in just the one coat. And I'm just using a sponge to just dab it on. And you're going to get a little bit of texture out of this. Even though you don't have any texture in your paint, you're still going to have a little bit of texture just from dabbing this on. But I actually like that look. Now for the first 3, I want to make these more of a farmhouse style, because my friend did say that her friend likes farmhouse style decor, but the good thing is she also likes other styles. So I'm just going to do one in the farmhouse style and one in more of a decorative style. Now this one is a set that I got from Amazon, and I will link it in the description. Although when I got this, I learned that these have a shiny finish, and it's odd because the clear paper that goes, or the clear plastic that goes on the front of them, on one side is very sticky. So you wouldn't think that it was a transfer. It's kind of odd when you get it. But what you do is you stick that sticky paper or sticky plastic onto your item, and then you use your tool to put pressure on it, just like if you're adding a transfer. But then you peel that sticky paper off, and then you have your transfer on. So that, again, that was kind of odd to me, but it did work well. The only thing that I had a problem with is, again, these are just very shiny transfers, and I do not like shiny transfers. But what I did, generally you would clear coat your bottle first and then do your transfers, and I could have done that, but I just felt like because I had used the slick stick and left it on overnight that I could skip that step and it would still stick, and I was right, it did stick really well. And once I have it on, I'm going to have to clear coat it with a matte finish clear coat so that I can get rid of that sticky. So, and I thought I may have to do a couple of coats. So, as you can see, I was able to avoid the clear coat. And then you still can burnish that on with the back side of the clear plastic, but as you could see, the other side stuck to my hand, so it's sticky. And so it's just a little different technique with it. And again, you get that shiny finish. But if you're going to be putting a top coat on it, and usually you are, just use a matte finish top coat and it will take that shiny right off. And it did work really well. And I do really like these transfers. I think they have some really pretty images on them. So I'm just going to put one on each side of these bottles. I'm going to make sure that both sides have a transfer. And I'm just using ones that kind of, or I feel like they go together well. But you have lots of choices in this set. There's actually several images on it. And I feel like these were a really good price. Again, I'm going to link these in the description because I do think that they are worth the money that I paid for them. Even though I have that extra step, I think it worked out good. And actually, in this case, I guess I didn't have an extra step since I didn't clear coat first. Also, maybe an upside to these is that because they're sticky, you don't have to worry about your transfer slipping. Now for this bottle, because it was the dark brown, I'm going to do some distressing with my finger sander so that a lot of that dark can show through. And there's some raised design here around the edge of this side that I can work with and really get some pretty distress. And then because I distressed this one, I'm going to do some distressing on the others, although it won't show up quite as dark as it does on the darker bottle. I apologize for my wobbly camera, and I think I mentioned before that as much as I love my craft table, I'm on the lookout for another one because this one moves too easily. And now I found an area here at the top of this bottle that is raised that I can paint black, and that will add some contrast to this bottle, and I don't have to tape it off because again it's raised and it gives me a really good place to stop my paint. And I also found some similar areas on my other bottles that I could do the same with. I decided here that this chicken needed a little something extra, so I found some other little parts of the transfers that I could add. Then I decided to use some trim around the top just to add a little bit more character and hide the little areas that I didn't really care for. And all of these trims that I'm using here, I think, are from the Dollar Tree. But here I've added a little torn strip from a coffee stained tea towel first, just to add some extra texture. And I think I forgot to mention that before I added this trim, I took these outside and sprayed them with a couple of coats of a matte clear top coat. And then the very last thing that I did to these bottles is tie some jute string around the top and added a hang tag. I just love the shape of these next bottles. And again, I've added the drop cloth here, and I ended up going back over the drop cloth with some of the cotton white. I just took that sponge and just kind of sponged a little bit of the cotton white over the drop cloth to lighten it up, but it also gave it some dimension in the color, which I really liked. And then I decided that the accent color that I wanted to use on these bottles was the color Weeping Willow. So I found some little areas that I could trim out in the Weeping Willow, and that was the color scheme that I used here. Now, I thought it would be hard to find an area to paint on this bottle, but then I realized that I had that rounded little area there at the top of each of these little sections, and it made it pretty easy to trim that out also. Now this is another transfer set that I ordered, and it's that same sticky finish or shiny finish with the sticky clear plastic. So I know now that these will work, and these are just some dragonfly images with some little dragonfly sayings on them. And some of them are really cute. So I'm just going to pick some of these and put on these bottles because I really felt like these colors would go well with the colors that I chose as a color scheme on these bottles. And obviously I'm just going to do the same thing with these ones and just go ahead and transfer those on, and then spray a clear coat, a matte clear coat over the top to get rid of the shiny finishes. You can see it really worked well on these first bottles to take that shiny finish away. And I'm just going to randomly place these on these bottles where I feel like it needs a little something, and keep these kind of simple. So once I've got all the transfers that I wanted on these, then I just finished them off with some vintage lace. So when I edited this video, I realized that I had lost the footage on these 3 jars, and I'm not sure how that happened, but all that I did was find some old jars. These 2 on the outer edge are just some old bottles that jars that I absolutely love the shape of, and I didn't want to do anything permanent on them, so I just added this transfer that I will add in the description. And then this center one was just a jar that had some texture on it. This is actually a blue jar with some texture. And I painted it in the color buttercream, and then took my little finger sander and did some heavy distressing on it. And then I finished it off with some vintage lace trim. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope to see you in the next. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great evening, and God bless you and your family.